Hello, ladies and blah, blah, blah. Wow, let's try this again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Charlie of the Altered of the Confusion, doing the thing where we confuse everyone's brain cells.
Ah, yes, it is going. By the way, I don't know what you've done to your cat, but it is now darted behind you like 10 times at light speed. So,
Well, if you really want to know, she threw up her dinner, so now she's angry that she's hungry again.
okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to welcome you to the show. This is a show for you where we take your comments, topics, questions, and whatnot and try our best to cover them with you during our weekly show. Now, if you didn't get a chance to submit your topic, question, etc., you can always drop it into the chat and we will try our best to cover it during the show. Or, heaven forbid, we will cover it next show. Now, one of the topics that we brought up last week had something to do with it was a fan topic where can you still love a game even if it has a game-ending bug crash? Okay.
Oh dear.
And so, we thought about it because I was experiencing one in a game called Black Sad, which is based off of a graphic novel series, and it really pissed me off. Well, it turns out that one of the biggest names for Switch games right now, ironically, Black Sad was also a Switch game, but this one, Paper Mario: The Origami King,
Yes.
has a bug that, unfortunately, it looks like in the final stretch of the game, so it's about 20 to 30 hours into the game, there's a bug crash. Now, of course, I didn't look into the very specifics of it simply because I don't want spoilers, but I do find it ironic that we just covered this topic last week, and here it is. An actual example of a very highly visible game. Okay, so but here's a question for you then. Since it is first of all, it's a first party studio, so you would think they had nipped this in the fucking butt before anything, right?
One would think, but we have seen that as definitely not always the case.
Right, but I mean, and the other thing, but it is also a Mario game, so I feel like you would get a little bit more leeway with that.
Yeah. One would think. I mean, it's, you expect it maybe not optimally, obviously, but you'd think on a smaller budget title, where they maybe don't have quite the funds for QAing all the other things, that there'd be more of a chance for that. But on a large first-person title, you would think they would have things figured out.
Especially with the name Mario in the title.
Yeah, that's something that usually just doesn't get by. So that is a little surprising to me, actually.
It is. Hopefully, since it is Nintendo, I'm pretty sure they've got all their best working on it, unless it's, online play or anything like that. But yeah, seriously, it is quite interesting that, it's a Nintendo game and it's a Mario game and it's a crash that basically brings your entire experience to a halt 20 to 30 hours into it.
That is definitely an unfortunate way to try to play a video game, and that would make me sadly very frustrated.
But while we're talking about Paper Mario, the Origami King, I, of course, have been playing the game. That's why I don't know exactly where in the last stretch of the game this error occurs, because I don't want to give anything away.
Oh, yes. Have you found the error yourself?
No. God, no. I'm way too early in the game. It's an interesting game, okay? So for those out there who don't know anything about Paper Mario is basically, if you were Mario, a 2D, like basically a piece of paper, 2D model that's interacting in a 3D world. And so it's quite interesting and unique. But they changed it. They made a very interesting battle mechanic change for this one, and it's a lot more puzzle-like, and I don't know if I like it or not. I really don't know.
But you like puzzles.
Yeah, but it's like you go in and you have basically this like spinning dial, and you have a certain number of turns to line up all the enemies that are sitting on this dial. And usually it's like you could get one or two spins, and you got to get them all lined up. If you get them all lined up, you get a bonus, and then you can attack those guys with either a hammer or boots. And I don't know, because once you do that, then you got to do the timing, but you also have a time limit in order to. It's just a lot.
It sounds like your kind of game, man.
It is, but it isn't. Ironically, I just got through reviewing a game that was a puzzle-esque game. It was a horror game, I guess you could call it a horror, called Simulacra, which basically you find this woman's cell phone on your front doorstep, and you turn it on, and all of a sudden you have decided to go on a mission to find out what happened to this girl, and all weird shit happens. And I want it. There's actually 3 iterations of this game, and honestly, I played the first one and I wanted to punch someone, so I'm not playing the next 2. But if you want to know more about that, you can just go and read the review, because I'm not going to break it down for you. But I did not like the game at all.
At all.
Yep. So, okay, let's get into some of the things that are happening right now. As we continue to adjust to this new world that we live in, there, of course, are a lot of conventions that have gone virtual, and there's a couple of conventions that have been created because now we're looking at a virtual environment. The one big one that's happening. Well, actually, there's 2 big ones, but one that's been totally virtual to begin with is Adult Swim Con, and it started. I think it started today, and I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Once our show is over, you go back over to Adult Swim Con and you could catch up on all this stuff. But have no fear, the championship bracket will not start. The championship for best episode on Adult Swim won't actually start until 10 p.m. So you are safe for now.
And their website really scares me, because when you go on it, it feels like it's a GeoCities website, because like you go on there and it changes your cursor.
Yeah, man. I
was like, oh, my screen's possessed.
No, this is Adult Swim to a freaking T. So it's not. I'm not like, oh my god. It's what you've grown to expect.
Well, no, that's kind of the whole point. Is
exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So you have that, and then of course Comic-Con at home, which this would be the time where San Diego Comic-Con is happening. So there's a bunch of stuff going on there. There's a lot of streams, and you would think that it is crazy to be at San Diego Comic-Con and try to get those exclusive little tchotchkes. But since they opened it up to the internet, where you're not having to like muscle your way through people to get this stuff, it's apparently gotten even more insane for those con exclusive items.
All of your exclusives belong to me, sir.
Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in an area that has a Target that has any of the 3 Marvel superhero Blacklight special editions, if you'll buy them, I will pay you plus shipping to get them here, because there's none any closer than 180 miles from Atlanta.
What if you were to drive more than 180 miles?
Pretty sure the wife would frown upon that.
What if you do it in the middle of the night and she doesn't know?
Pretty sure the wife would frown upon that.
You missed the part where she doesn't know.
Pretty sure my wife would frown upon that.
Well, I think that you need to think about the frowning and turn that upside down.
Yes. Okay, so now that I've gotten that, first of all, there's a bunch of awesome stuff that's happening for Comic-Con at home. You guys have to check it out. I could spend an entire show just talking about all the stuff that they've got planned, but believe me when I say all you need to do is go to www.comic-con.org, and you can find all the information there. All right, one of the big pieces of news that did break, and I think it was basically everyone knew this was coming. Netflix has announced that they will be bringing the Avatar: The Last Airbender sequel series to Netflix, I think in August. The first Avatar: The Last Airbender was a 3-season series, and I just finished it today for the first time ever. I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. You were able to make it through.
It was awesome.
Oh, the awesomeness.
Yes. Now, of course, the follow-up, which Okay, so there is a huge chunk of people out there who are diehard Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's the best of the two. There's a huge chunk of people out there that go, no, the follow-up, which is Legends of Korra, is the better of the two. Legends of Korra is a 4-season animated series. Of course, it's the sequel to Avatar. It stars the successor to the Airbender. So Aang,
Korra?
huh?
It stars Korra, I'm assuming.
Yes, Korra, who's a waterbender, and she is basically the mirror opposite of Aang. Aang's more like this peaceful, let's talk it out before we do anything. Korra's more of this fight first and ask questions later. This series will take 70 years after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Aang founded a new sovereign state during his time as the Avatar, the United Republic of Nations, and Korra's story begins there in Republic City. Korra is 17 years old when she first meets Aang, and she learns airbending from Aang's son Tenzin. And so in the first one, this is not giving anything away. The first one, basically, the Fire Nation has kind of like tipped the scales. Everyone's supposed to be in balance: fire, earth, air, and water. But the Fire Nation's done something very bad. So Aang has to go in there and try to fix everything. This time around, it's not so much the nations that are the problem. It is technology, which is interesting. So basically, instead of having to deal with an all-out war between the Fire Nation and everyone, this series is built around political uprising, spiritual unrest, and a numerous amount of foes.
Of course, there's foes. You got to have the action to go with the thinking.
Yes. So I'm very interested. Once this comes out, of course, I will probably binge watch it just like I did Avatar, and I will make the judgment call to see which one is better.
Why can't they just both be great without having to always compare and act like another one is not a superior? Just enjoy both in their greatness.
I think we as humans strive on being able to try to put one thing above the other. I think it's our nature.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's always a good thing.
All right. So, for some of you, most of you out there probably know that Microsoft Xbox, they had their huge showcase today.
There's an Xbox?
Yeah, there's an Xbox.
The next Xbox Series XXX?
Yeah. Triple X plus 5.
I really wish they gave it that name.
I wish.
And then they could have Vin Diesel advertise.
I know. I was like, Vin Diesel jumps out of a plane with a strap to his back. No, they had this huge event where they showcased a bunch of stuff. One of the big things, of course, was the announcement that Fable is returning. Now, some groundwork to lay down here. Fable was originally made by Lionsgate Studios, which no longer exists. They died back in 2016 when their I think it was like a co-op multiplayer Fable game died. I think in 2016-ish. So there's a new company, of course, that's taking over that, and that is Playground Games, which is the creative masterminds behind the Forza series, which is interesting. We're talking about an RPG full of quips and silliness coming from a company that's most known for sleek-looking racing cars.
But to be fair, there is a reason people buy Xboxes, and sometimes it is literally just because of Forza.
Well, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Right away, as soon as I heard that Playground Games was going to be the masterminds behind this, I knew off the bat it's going to look pretty.
Yeah.
There's no ands or buts about that.
They've shown that they know how to make a pretty awesome video game.
Yeah.
The question is okay, pretty graphics, and I think for the most part, I think we can grant on the next, XXX Box X in the Sony PlayStation 5, especially first-person titles, they're going to be pretty, man. They're going to be gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
Use all those CPUs. But the question is the stories. And that's not something you really have to worry about too much in a racing game. So how much...
sports game.
True. No, man, it's that personal saga of how I went from a fourth round draft pick
that.
to.
I think I mean, I haven't played a sports game in God knows how long, but I know there's like Road to Tradition or something that they used to have.
That was too much of a storyline for a sports game?
Yeah, it's like RPG elements. Like there's a college football one where you can decide on weight training or your studies, and it gain like you got your smarts or you gain more muscle. But if you gain more muscle, your intelligence would go down. It was a very weird. I mean, I liked it. I played the shit out of it, but that's besides the point.
Fascinating.
The one thing that I do want to point out that was made abundantly clear is that this Fable that's coming out for the upcoming Xbox Series X and, of course, the PC is a reboot. It is not going to be Fable 4. They are not going to continue whatever the hell they were trying to do at the end. I know that was God, what the hell's his name? Peter Molyneux basically, I don't know, went off the rails and did some crazy stuff in Fable 3. I vaguely remember going, that's not right.
Did you like the Fable, though?
I believe I liked the first half. I felt like the second half was like micromanaging units in the kingdom or something. That was just too weird for me. I don't think I ever played through the entire third.
I played the first one, but that was actually it. I don't think I played number 2 or 3.
I played 1 and 2, and I played part of 3. I believe I only played part of 3 because the second, like I said, I think it was like basically a game of two halves, and the second half just sucked.
Fascinating.
Yes. Now, speaking of this Microsoft amazing showcase, there was another game that was shown off, and this one, I don't know how I feel about it. So there is a game developer out there called Image and Form. They are the brainiacs behind basically the entire SteamWorld universe. SteamWorld Dig 1, 2, SteamWorld Heist, SteamWorld, what the hell, Quest. But this time, it's not going to be a SteamWorld game. It's not steampunk or robots. It's a totally new game.
What?
I know. The name of the game is called The Gunk. It is a new adventure game where players will take on scary enemies and try to solve puzzles that obscure a grander mystery. If you watched the trailer that they showed, and of course you can hit this up on YouTube as well, it looks like you land on like an unidentified island, or not island, a planet, and there's this weird black gunk that you have to basically you're trying to drain away with your special glove, vacuum glove, and it looks like underneath the gunk is like life, and something that gunk is corrupting the life of the planet.
Interesting.
Now there is no release date. They only say year 2021, and I'm assuming that is going to be for the Xbox X and PC version, and it's probably going to be simul-released. But I would not be surprised. I really would not be surprised if I saw this game also on the Switch and probably the PlayStation, to be honest with you.
Interesting. It seems like so far, at least from what I've seen, the PlayStation 5 right now still has the exclusive, I would say, lead on the next-gen consoles. Now, of course, it depends how big of a Halo fan are you. So, obviously, if you're a huge all-in Halo fan, that would tip the scales towards the Xbox.
Okay, well let's talk about that Halo trailer that happened. Halo Infinite is the trailer that was shown or showcasing the next Halo. I must have fallen asleep and missed a Halo entry or something because I have no idea where the fuck the story is. I'm like,
well,
who
that's
are
not
you?
a good sign. You're Master Chief, man.
I thought I was, but apparently I missed a chapter 3.
But are you not Master Chief?
No, you are Master Chief, but where the story's picking up, I'm not exactly sure what the hell happened. First of all,
it's in space.
Yeah, it's in space. It's on this thing called the Halo ring, which basically covers every single freaking game. And you're playing the role of a guy named Master Chief, and you could potentially drive around in a car called the Warthog, and you will use a wide variety of guns. The biggest difference, or the one difference I've saw that was just like mind-blowing, was that you have a grapple hook this time.
A grappling hook?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds cool.
They've never had one before.
Well, so now you can grapple aliens into your sweet, sweet embrace.
No, it's more like you grapple to them and punch them in the face.
That sounds pretty cool too.
Yes. So I mean, it was like it was a little bit of a trailer into some of the gameplay. They basically just had an area set up where you could, they could show the effects of a bunch of different weapons, all the weapons you've seen. If you've ever played any Halo, you've probably seen the vast majority of the weapons. So it's not like, earth-shattering, oh my God, I've never seen that happen.
Interesting.
But I mean, it was, it's Halo. And if you're a Halo fan, you're going to like it. The one thing, now for me, of course, as we've noted several times, I am more of a story, single-player kind of guy. So I'm very interested to see how well they do the story, or if they totally fuck it up like Halo 4. You know what? I now know that I missed a Halo because there was Halo Guardians, and I didn't pick that one up because I was so pissed at Halo 4 because you had all those damn TV ads about Master Chief running down like what looked like streets of Venice, and that shit never happened in the game. False advertisement.
You're still angry about that?
Yes, I am. Damn it. There's a lot of stuff I'm still angry about.
Well,
we can go further back. I mean, we can go PSP Go, man. Let's just do this.
Yeah, nah.
No, okay. But anyways, everything is all pretty with videos, but I want to actually be able to play the game before I, make any passing judgments about it. And I apparently just remembering that I've missed the Halo, probably need to go back and play that one if I am so wanting to.
But apparently it's a big, giant open world, so there'll be lots to explore and frag.
Whee!
Or something.
Whee! Okay, so another huge bit of news that's happening in the interwebs, which of course...
Wait, you missed one other exciting game that's coming to the Xbox.
Oh, Lord. Go for it, Zealeus.
It's basically... it's Transformers-inspired arena shooter that's coming, where you get to fight with big robots.
I'm good.
Oh.
You mean Chrome Hounds? I mean, you mean Mech Warrior? I mean...
Well, if we want to go that route of games copying other games, we could do that for every game ever made.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you get to be in a huge robot in an arena and shoot people. Okay.
It's another competitive FPS. It's exactly what we need in the world right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, so speaking of, I guess, competitive games, now, of course, one of the main streaming services out there is Twitch, which we are currently streaming on live.
Twitch.
Now, Twitch has come out with an announcement that said that they are going to introduce a standalone category called Twitch Sports.
Twitch Sports?
Yes. So basically, what they're going to do is, this is going to sound really crazy. And so basically, what Twitch has done in the past is they've already established official pages for like NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, Major World Soccer, rugby, football, UFC, and a lot of the leagues out there utilize Twitch for like rebroadcastings or like greatest hits type thing.
Sure.
But because of this wonderful, crazy epidemic that continues to permeate throughout this entire world, it appears that there is a larger hole to fill with the fans. So this might allow for the leagues to put a little bit more attention on like a platform like Twitch, where they could put, better highlights and stuff together, and maybe give you some sneak peeks of some like scrimmages and stuff. Because I know that basketball just started up. Well, that they're doing the scrimmages, and Major League Soccer is back, which I watched a couple of those and got really sad because Atlanta United keeps sucking it up.
Yeah, I was trying to ignore that.
But it is very interesting. First of all, with this, I guess, the current age of athletes that are going through, this crazy ass time, they're gamers. A lot of them are gamers. So they will gravitate to stream on Twitch while they're playing their video games. So why not have stuff that they're in also stream? That's the thing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's that whole thing of, I think there's a bunch of leagues that are because of the coronavirus and the fact that they couldn't get teams out there, you had a lot of like Xboxes and PlayStations simulating pro league sports on streams. So this, of course, judging from the amount of individuals that are willing to tune into that any and every day, Twitch is like, okay, yeah.
Well, remember when Madden football on ESPN was a really big deal? All before all this?
Yep.
Remember they used to have like the tournaments for that on TV?
Yep. And then some dude went crazy and shot up a place.
I don't remember
that. I do. It was in Florida.
Well, a little bit closer to home.
Well, for a time.
But once upon a home, sir.
But I find it interesting. But let's be honest. Everything is going to the interweb. So this is, to kind of break it off a little bit further and have a more designated spot for all the sports. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Now, there was a question that we were given last week and we weren't able to cover it. And I want to bring it up right now so I don't forget again. And that is, as gamers, we've seen a wide variety of save game mechanisms. There are those games out there that you have to do, it's a one straight run. There is no saving. You go start to finish. There, of course, are the old school games where you had to, if you wanted to restart your game at a later date, you had to know some weird-ass combination.
Metroid,
Castlevania, Mega Man, Bubble Bobble, just to name a few.
Which also gave you access to really cool cheat codes.
Just that too. And then, of course, you also have those games out there that allow you to, the games out there that you could save as many times as you want, as many slots as you want.
The BioWare effect, so you can see your decision tree and what it would do.
Exactly. Or you have those games that have just the autosave.
Yes.
Where your game saves at the checkpoints, and that's it. Which I'm totally okay with. But then you
That's
also
a lot
have
of RPGs do that too.
But then you have these games out there that take it a step further. Not only do you have just your checkpoint saves, but you only have a game save.
Oh.
So if you're playing a game, let's say that you're playing, I don't know, a 40-hour game, and you decide, you know what, I really want to replay this one part just to see what happens.
Yep.
There's a very good chance that if you were to restart a game, you would lose your 40, 50-hour save because you're only allowed a save for the entire game.
Yep.
So, Zealeus, my friend, and of course the audience, what's your favorite type of save?
I'm a big fan personally of the BioWare style save from the games.
Take one step, save. Take one step, save another file.
Yes. Oh, I have a conversation to have. Definitely preemptively save it. Now, I am okay though with it saves for you automatically. Yeah. I can understand that philosophy and I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. Where I don't like it, and I think that's kind of what you're going at, is when you have one single save play in your entire game. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, I really like playing Dragon's Dogma. It's a good game, but you have very different combat styles that you can do. You got your fast dagger person, you got your really slow two-handed, mm-hmm. You got your ranger, you got your magician. But you can only play one of those at a time. And I've been playing the really fast dagger and I just wanted to try out to see okay, how would it feel to basically play the two-handed hammer character? Mm-hmm. There's not really, the only way of doing that is either A, starting a new game, or B, gimping basically the long-term viability of your character by speccing into that two-handed hammer for a duration of the game to try out. And that I'm not really that big of a fan of that type of mechanism.
So, in my honest opinion, when you have a game like that, an RPG like that, where you have specific classes that you're going to be taking on, you're taking the role of, I think, honestly, there should be a save per class. So if you want to dabble with, so it's not like, you could start 15 different, two-handed melee games, but you can have that two-handed melee game and also a ranger game or also a thief game or something like that.
Well, here's what makes a game like Dragon's Dogma slightly tricky with that is it's basically the skill sphere style of leveling up. So you don't actually you choose one of your 3 starting classes. I think it's like warrior, ranger, or sorcerer, but you can do warrior for levels 1 through 10, then spec into sorcerer after that. So it's not a straightforward class mechanism in that regard.
What was that game that you played a crap ton of, and then you both made a horrible film of?
King, and the name of the king was the name of the movie.
But what was the game?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to Google it.
I keep wanting to say King's Bounty because the name of the king, but it's obviously not King's Bounty. Dungeon Siege.
That's it. Dungeon Siege.
Yes. See, here's Dungeon Siege. I really like Dungeon Siege. It's still one of my favorite RPG level up mechanics where your experience is based on the weapon you use. It's what I mean by that is where if you're continually using a one-handed dagger, it levels up your one-handed dagger. You throw on your your wand, it's now leveling up your wand. I really, not the actual weapon itself, but your class associated with that. Right. And I really like that level up mechanism because it allows the player basically to change at a whim then. And you keep the stats of the other weapon too. So it's not like you magically just lose all your other stats.
You still have your proficiency with other.
Yeah.
Like real world.
I really like that. I really like that style of RPG leveling up.
Wasn't that the blueprint, the original blueprint of Final Fantasy XIV was that all your experiences in your weapon and not your character? I feel like that was the original one, but they were like, "Oh God, this is terrible," and
it may have been before Realm Reborn.
That's what I'm saying. Before it reborned itself.
I do not know the answer to that question.
Speaking of Reborn,
that's a little bit different for MMO, though. I could see it not working as well for MMO.
Speaking of Reborn, for those out there who may remember, I did dabble into Crucible, the Amazon Studio first-person shooter, and they have gone and brought it all the way back into testing. It was interesting, but I didn't see it having legs like they thought it would. To be honest with you, the game that's out there, everyone's like, "Oh God, it's gonna be amazing! Ubisoft's all over it. It's a crazy game." Hyperscape. For those out there who don't know, I've been kind of watching trends on Twitch. Now, of course, I go to a website and pull all that shit myself, but I've decided let's do it much more difficult, and let me actually I will manually put in the data into a spreadsheet because it makes me feel special. And I could tell you
special, sir,
that there is I think it's like the 2 weeks that I've been doing this, that I'm doing random checks. Hyperscape has dropped from, let's see, let me make sure I get this right here. Hyperscape at one point was at 17,000 concurrent viewers or live viewers. And now, the last time I checked it, which was this morning, it's at 2. So in a span of, let's see, where's that 17? 18. Okay, 17 was in a span of a week, it has dropped from 17 to 2.
I would say that's problematic, sir.
And this is open beta.
That's no bueno.
No.
So I guess, is that what we are now gauging the success of basically PvP-oriented games? Is their Twitch viewership?
I would say, I wouldn't say Twitch per se. I'd say it was just online viewership. I think that the more eyes you get on it, the more push you can get from, because people are like, "Oh, did you see that amazing thing?" It could be the most, it's exactly like independent games. It could be the most amazing game in the world, but if no one knows about it, no one's going to know. And so, you've got to have these, games that have a huge viewer base. I mean, that's really what if it's online, it has to have a huge viewer base now. If you can't do that, hell, single player games have to have a huge, viewing base. Paper Mario, the Origami King has, it's easily got like 8,000 people every day, every day, any hour. It's stayed basically constant since its release. And you look at
still see, I still remember Zelda is still on there on the list. I know you got to go a bit further down.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean,
but
it's not as
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's basically stayed exactly where it has. Now, of course, you got the random ass games that'll pop up every once in a while. But if you're talking, if there is a benchmark that you're trying to aim for, you need to aim for, League of Legends, which of course has been around forever, Fortnite, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Valorant, Grand Theft Auto 5, Dota 2, World of Warcraft, Apex Legends, Minecraft, Overwatch. You got to have those numbers.
But does high viewership equate to a game that plays well? Because the experience of watching a competitive video game, or a single player game for that matter, is a very different experience from actually playing a video game. So I don't know if I necessarily think that high viewership games has any correlation to a high quality experience from a playing perspective.
So I understand where you're coming from. And I think that yes and no. The more people who see the game as viewers, the better chance some of those viewers are going to become purchasers. They're going to become consumers. Yep. I'm not saying that everyone, because there's a bunch of people out there who have not bought a game in a long ass time, and what they do is they just tune into someone's YouTube channel and watch a Let's Play. So they can get all the oohs and ahs without any of the throw a controller through the wall syndrome. That being said, I think because you're seeing, you get so many more eyes on it, you're more likely, maybe you as a consumer, you may not purchase it for yourself, but you might run into someone going, man, I remember the good old days of this. You'll be like, dude, I've been watching the shit out of this one streamer who's playing this game. Sounds right up your alley. Free marketing. And also when you get to like the big boys with Twitch and you get the affiliate status, there's also ad revenue that's going into that as well.
Well, I would agree from a publisher perspective. Right. They absolutely want that viewership. Yeah. I mean, that is a logical.
And who pays the developers is the publisher.
Yeah. So no, I get that they want that viewership. I'm just not going to subscribe to high viewership numbers and make it a good game.
Oh God, no. Once again, that's only part of the equation. There are amazing games that continue to.
What is the equation we're trying to evaluate?
Okay, there's two things.
Like,
is it a successful game, or is it a market? Is it a financially successful game, like in the marketplace, or is it a good game?
Okay.
Sometimes two completely different things.
That I agree with. Absolutely.
There are some amazing games out there. There's one game called Beyond Good and Evil, which flew way under the fucking radar. It's an amazing game, but not many people picked it up. Hell, the very first Puzzle Quest was released onto the DS. No one knew what the fuck it was, and so basically the vast majority of the brick and mortar stores sent all the copies back because no one was buying them, only to have this wave of gamers come in a month later going, where the fuck is this game? I want to play this game, because it was a delayed reaction. But then you have these games that are remakes and sequels and remasters and reboots, or just the same fucking thing, but you change 3 lines of code that people are, it's name recognition. Yep. A monetary success or a financial success does not equal a successful, good game. It's just, people are driven by the green. And so
let's look at, what is it, that movie on Netflix? I have not watched it. I think it's called like 365. Apparently it's basically like a really terrible softcore porn movie. But somehow it gets like insane. Like, it was like one of the most highly watched Netflix movies for like weeks or months. And yet everybody's like, this is a terrible movie.
Yet everyone goes, well, there must be something I'm missing, so I'll watch it.
And so it's like, it continues to get viewership, even though everybody's like, this is terrible. It's
the same principle for, any shitty movie or any game or any book. If enough people talk about
50 Shades of Grey.
There's going to be, which is just Twilight fanfic. They just removed the werewolves and the vampires. I don't know why.
What is there left to have?
The bondage stuff, I guess. I don't know. I've never read it. I just know that a lot of people bitch and moan about it.
You should do it on book on tape. It could be a sing-along.
Oh God, no! Every single time I think about like a lewd book on tape, I immediately think about that Family Guy episode where Betty White is the audible narrator for the book. I'm like, yeah. Anyways,
you could do nighttime reading with your family.
No.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, financial success versus a successfully good game, two different things. But you basically with everyone going, everyone's watched this, and I like, it doesn't really seem that good. Maybe I'll give it a spin, and that's of course one of the traps with the free to play games, or the free to start games, as Nintendo has now coined the phrase.
Always a different way of spinning it.
Yeah. Well, it used to be microtransaction games. Now it's free to play. Now it's free to start, because we know that you're going to be dropping some bank if you actually want to play the damn game.
Ain't that the truth?
Now, that being said, speaking of free to play or free to start or whatever, as many of you've probably noticed, I've played a shit ton of Legends of Runeterra, and I will go on the record and say I have never spent any real money on getting cards in the game. Now, I've spent real money on getting like a nice background, to maybe get an extra expedition token so I could do like a special event. That I've spent money on. But I've never spent money on buying an actual card. And I'm to the point where I'm basically, when you've hit your third copy, any other copies of that card gets turned into the in-game currency, which is called shards. Ooh. So I'm basically getting shards every single time they're giving me free cards. So it's doable. You just have to put a shit ton of time in. Oh, speaking of which, I started playing ranked play, and I've gone from one level to the next level. So there's there's iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and master. And I have worked my way through iron. I am now in bronze, and there's 4 levels within bronze, and I am bronze level 3.
Look at you, level 3.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I do want to take this brief moment to do a shout out to the friends of the show. And I will go a little bit more into detail on one of our friends of the show, because he has a huge thing going on. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about the Indie Cluster.
The Indie Cluster? What is the Indie Cluster,
The Indie Cluster, ladies and gentlemen, is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development, to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. Which, of course, one of the guys behind it is an amazing guy by the name of Ron Jones. I highly recommend that you check out the Indie Cluster. The next shout out is to my personal chiropractor and friend of the show, and that, of course, is Chiropractic, or as you might know him, Dr. Ryan.
I did not know him by that name.
Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. Dr. Ryan has been my personal chiropractor for over 3 years, and I cannot say a bad thing about him. He's an amazing person, and he's also a great chiropractor. So, yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we did have a little bit of sad news about one of our shout-outs from last week, but I do have some good news, some follow-up news. That, of course, surrounds the amazing place called Battle and Brew. Battle and Brew is Atlanta's first and oldest gaming bar and restaurant. Opened in 2005, Battle and Brew had a very modest menu, a few beer taps, and focused heavily on gaming. Now they have grown to encompass so much more. They pioneer geek trivia in Atlanta, which they still do, no matter if the place is open or closed, and remain the hardest trivia in town. They have upgraded the menu from only a few items to all your bar favorites.
We need Battle and Brew in our life, sir.
Dang it, maybe someone keeps calling my phone. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Don't they know you got things to do?
I know, seriously, it's bugging the crap out of me, man.
Anyone who knows should know these things.
Bar favorites and some soon-to-be favorites. They've expanded the gaming and kept everything top of the line. They've taken it's taken a great place and made it an even better place.
Very nice.
A place where the staff listens to your desires and suggestions. A place where you and your friends feel like you're at home. A place where everyone knows your game. So definitely, now some follow-up good news about Battle and Brew, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, who may have been interested in Battle and Brew. You know that last week we disclosed that it was found out that one of the employees of Battle and Brew had COVID, so they had to shut it all down, and they just did like top of the line, like disinfecting and all that stuff. They are now reopening their curbside service, which is awesome.
And they have new temporary hours of 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, and 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday
I am so
and Sunday.
tempted to go by there tomorrow and get myself a Chicky Parm Parm with a little Mac.
I'm sad you're not getting the dragon talons anymore. It's like you're not really
Chicky
the person.
Parm Parm has like dragon talons in there, man. It's a chicken parmesan sandwich.
It's not the same,
but it's got the cheese and the sauce. It's a lovely design.
All
right, so ladies and gentlemen, the last shout out that we want to do this evening is for Nerdburger Games. Nerdburger Games is the game design imprint of award-winning RPG designer Craig Campbell. Craig has done a whole bunch of RPG design freelancing in the past. Several years ago, he dove into designing his own RPG. Now, Nerdburger Games has multiple RPGs, and it's showing no signs of stopping. Nerdburger Games endeavors to create games that explore corners of the RPG landscape that haven't been explored, or haven't been explored very often. These games forego dense gaming mechanics in favor of lighter rule sets that allow players to focus on telling fun, engaging, memorable stories. Now, the really interesting and the really cool thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that not only should you check out Nerdburger Games, but there is actually a Nerdburger online convention that's going to be happening in a couple weeks. So, if you want a front row seat to that, my good fellows, I shall impart upon you some fun info. In the chat, I'm going to drop the link to the actual program guide for the entire thing. And then also, I'm going to drop the link to the Discord channel, because the Discord is basically like your registration system. Basically, Nerdburger Con is going to give you a variety of opportunities to play some of these games. Could be Mergers and Acquisitions, could be Capers, could be Die Laughing, could be one of the other games that some of the friends of Nerdburger Games is going to be putting on. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but I've signed up for a couple that aren't Nerdburger Games, but I am excited to.
What'd you sign up for?
Let's see here. What did I sign up for?
I don't know.
I'll have to look at it. I wish I could click on it, but I fear that if I click on anything that says Chrome, I'm going to freeze Zealeus' face. So,
my face is sometimes better frozen.
I don't know about that, but anyways, it's free. Okay, let me just reemphasize. It is free.
Wait, how free are we talking?
Free. The only thing that's required is your time.
I'm so confused.
So basically, here's one of the things. It's going to be, of course, an online like chat room environment. It's going to be like Zoom or Discord or Google Hangouts or something like that. There are going to be, a couple of there's always going to be guidelines for this type of stuff. Of course, no harassment. There is an inclusivity, thing. So we celebrate all races, all genders, all orientations, all that stuff. There's also, and this is kind of interesting, and I didn't even think about this. There is in place for the vast majority of these games, there's things called safety tools, and these are basically things to help make sure the games don't stray into areas that might be too realistic, maybe too violent, that kind of stuff.
I'm not sure how I feel about the cursing guideline.
The hell's the cursing going? Cursing. Keep language PG-13 in public channels. Talk to the GM host about acceptable language in event spaces.
I'm not sure I feel about that, man. We need some real man's language.
Okay. So here's another thing that has to be taken into effect. All of these games, all the sessions, because it's going to start on Friday and go through Sunday, they could be streamed. That's if everyone who's part of that game agrees for it to be streamed. Otherwise, it's going to be a private thing.
Interesting.
So you need to,
So I'm saying is I should say no and then stream it on my end on Twitch to make that money off the stream.
That's the fastest way to get your ass whooped. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't tell them I'm streaming until afterwards.
Oh no, there'd be people monitoring you, Zealeus.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of sketchy to be monitored.
Fine, I will monitor your ass to make sure you stay in line. How about that?
Oh, please do so.
No. Anyways, it's very interesting. I of course have signed up for I think 4 of the sessions.
But none of the Nerdburger games? What's wrong with you?
No. I'm in a Capers one and also a Die Laughing one.
Okay, good.
I don't even think they have Immersive Acquisitions game running. I don't think.
That's just wacky.
But there was there's a couple of like playtest ones that are like, yes, sign me up. I'm in. But definitely check it out. Probably the quickest way to go to find any information is go to nerdburgergames.com/nerdburger-con. You get all the information there. Like I said, free. There are limited spaces for each one of the games, so the faster you get in there and find what you're looking for, the better your chance of actually getting to get into that game.
Very nice.
Now, before Zealeus tuned in or logged into there, I was hinting about some surprise news that would make Zealeus very happy.
Surprise news! I love surprises!
Because I know that there are many, many people out there who remember the good old days of Altered Confusion.
Wait, aren't these the current days of Altered Confusion? I'm very confused.
Fine. The original days of Altered Confusion.
You mean when we had 3 people on the show?
Yeah, when we had 3 people on the show. That's not the reveal. Ladies and gentlemen, once upon a time, the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout was done with 3 people. There was 2 in one place and 1 in the other. Zealeus used to live in Minnesota, but that's another story for another day. There was something that I did for a long time, from about 2007 to 2013, and that was a webcomic.
Indeed.
I believe
it was a most glorious comic.
Most people would affectionately call it the Hawk and Steve comic.
Isn't that what it was called?
No.
Oh.
Well, I know what the name is, but I never actually broadcast it because, yeah, I'll tell you later.
You had a secret name to your own comic? That's just kind of weird.
Sort of. It was actually the original name of what Altered Confusion was going to be, but then for legal reasons, we couldn't use that name, so we changed it. But if you were to look at the name of the files, the initials are what the original website was going to be called. Anyways, so long story, even longer. I have been working on a secret project. And currently, as of right now, for those out there who don't know, I think there's like 400-something comics that were done for Altered Confusion. There was a first run, which was 201 comics. And then there was like some random stuff, and then there was a second run, which ended in 130 comics. That first run, that 201 comics, is currently in a template format with 144 out of the 201 already in place. And once that gets set and double checked, it will be submitted to a print-on-demand publisher.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy talk, you.
And I've been busting my balls behind the scene to get it done. It turns out that some of the files that I thought I had for the comics were not the full size.
Oh dear.
Because most of the files are basically, I'm trying to remember where the hell they are. Let's see here. I'm going to grab an early one here to give you some idea of the dimensions, as it were. The dimensions... damn it. I hit the wrong button.
No, don't hit the wrong one.
That's not really all that surprising. Let's see here. Most of the dimensions are 1360 by 420. But for some reason, I have a couple that are 600 by 181. And so I had to go dig through the interweb to go pull up the original files. Because for those of you out there who don't know, Altered Confusion actually started on a WordPress site.
Yes.
And the files, the images are still on the WordPress site. However, the actual pages where the files resided have been removed. So it's a painful process to pull those. But I love you guys. I'm going to do it anyways.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
But anyways, when I get more information, I'll give you a heads up about that. Nice. But I do want to announce that Altered Confusion is going to have at least volume 1 of their webcomic at some point.
Nice.
Now, I did want to, now, of course, as we do every single Thursday, I do want to do some, personal shout outs because, it's our show, so we can shout out to ourselves.
Is it our show?
Yes, it is. Well, it's at least my show, damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out one thing real quick, and that is that Altered Confusion for 9 years straight has been doing something called Extra Life. Extra Life, of course, is an amazing opportunity for anybody and everyone who's a gamer out there to help raise money for sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. For us, personally, at Altered Confusion, we have been pledging our support towards the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And basically, all the money that we raise through Extra Life goes directly to that hospital as unrestricted funds. What that means is the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the children they treat. Every single year, we've done at least 24, maybe 25 hours of streaming. We usually set a goal of, I think, at the beginning, we usually set the goal to $250. Once it's surpassed that, we'll be adding initiatives. And I guess it's safe to say that I can reveal that one of the initiatives will be a chance to get the Altered Confusion Volume 1 webcomic book.
Nice.
Now, if you do not have the ability to donate, but you are a gamer, my friend, my fellow gamer nerd person, first of all, it doesn't have to be a video game. It could be tabletop. It could be a board game. It could be a card game. The most important thing is you understand that you're doing it to raise money for the kids.
What kind of money? Like dollars, pesos,
wherever you are. But all you need to do, to get the information, all you got to do is go to www.extra-life.org. You can fill out all the information, and you can create your own team. You can create your own thing. Of course, you can look up Altered Confusion. The more, the better. If your way of contributing is to actually become a participant, then I recommend that you do that. I'm not going to try to force you to pay, to donate money to us when you can't. I mean, I would love it, but if you can't, but you could instead try to raise money for yourself, by yourself for one of your Children's Miracle Networks, that would be even better.
I mean, you love the kids, right? I mean, Everybody loves kids except for me.
Well, it's because you're a teacher.
Well, this is true. This is exactly why I work in education.
Exactly. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, to kind of change gears ever so slightly, ladies and gentlemen, there's this thing called Patreon that I want to talk about real quick. Patreon is basically, how do I put this? Patreon allows you, the fans, the supporters, to become active participants in the work we love that we love to offer to you. And basically, the way that our Patreon is set up is a monthly donation. I don't like to call it a membership, but it basically is a membership. There are 2 price points currently, or tiers, that will grant you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative processes or how we do things. In exchange for that money that you give us, it allows us to continue to host our podcasts on the channels that we do. Allows us for the upkeep of the equipment, helps us go to conventions, helps cover the cost of, the upkeep of everything. So if you can, please go to patreon.com/AlteredConfusion, and you could basically the donation starts or the pledge starts at $1. It goes, there's 2 tiers, like I said. There's one for $1 and then a second one at $5. If you decide, and by all means, if you decide that you want to donate more than $5 a month, by all means, please do. But I do want to say one thing, and that is, if you do choose that route, I want you to reach out to me and inform me that you're going to pay above $5, and I will try to work out something to give you a little extra for the extra you are giving Altered Confusion. I do not, as much as I would love for people to pledge $20 a month. There's only a 1 and a 5 level. If you're going to be pledging $20 a month, you're going to get some exclusive shit from Altered Confusion to thank you for it.
Everybody wants that shit, man.
Exactly. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Now, of course, there is one other thing that I do want to point out is if there's one thing that you could do for Altered Confusion above all else, that is to like us, favorite us, share us, subscribe to us, all that stuff on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatnot. But I know that there are people out there who like to send us physical things. And I'm going to tell you the P.O. Box number so you could do so. I have to do this little disclaimer. As long as it is legal and relevant for the world of Altered Confusion, we can showcase it.
Wait, do people actually send you like illegal stuff?
I have no idea. Anyways, so if you want to send something like maybe a t-shirt, a mug, Funko Pops, which seems to be a popular thing because, it's not like I have an addiction or anything. All you need to do is mail your thing to us at 1551 Dunwoody, that's Dunwoody, Village Parkway. And this next part is super duper important. It is number 88276. That's the actual P.O. Box number. If you leave that part off, it will go to the post office and then return to you within 3 to 5 business days. And the city
is that like a free way to get shipping? What if you put it like in the box, but you wanted to go somewhere else? So in the return address, you put the real address you wanted to send it to.
I don't know. That's okay. You're making my head hurt, Zealeus. Anyways, the city is Dunwoody. Once again, Dunwoody, DUNWOODY, Georgia 30338.
Very nice.
Yes, indeed. I feel like there was one other thing I was supposed to say, but now I can't remember what it was.
Wait, you had something else to say?
Yes, I'm sure it was awesome and important, and I apologize if I just stumbled over someone's topic. I apologize.
There was a topic?
Well, I talked about, okay, so seriously, ladies and gentlemen, check out Nerdburger Con. I'm doing at least 4 or 5 of the sessions. I highly recommend that you check them out. Hopefully, you get the sessions that you want. All time, I do want to point out that all the times that are listed on the information is Eastern Standard Time. So just a heads up, because I know there's some people that got really confused. They were like, oh, no, this doesn't work unless it's West.
Oh, yeah, time zones will get you, man.
Mm-hmm. But, I feel like there was another thing. But as I say, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, if at any point during the week you have any topics, questions that you'd like to bring up for the show, you can just drop us a line on any of our social media. If there's something that you want to hit us up directly with, you can hit us up through any of our social media means. It goes to me, and then I can, chit chat behind the scenes if necessary.
You know things about things.
I do know things about some things.
I mean, I don't know what you actually know, but we make it act like you know things. It's very exciting.
I know enough to be dangerous.
Do we actually want you to be dangerous?
Too late.
Oh, well, this is awkward.
Yes, it is. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I think we're Zealeus, do you have any last minute news you want to throw in there?
Was that the last question? So was that the question at the end of last Thursday that you had? Was the one about the save games?
Yep.
Well, since we've got 7 minutes, question for you. Do you feel geared towards any of the next-gen consoles, or do you think you're going to stay currently with the Switch and the PC life?
Ooh. Okay, so I am not going to be one of those opening day, release day type of people.
Sure.
I cannot honestly say that I won't buy the PlayStation or the Xbox at some point. I just don't plan on doing it anytime in the near future. I would say that, it would take an amazing game for me to want to buy one of those systems. That being said, there's been some amazing games that have come out for the PlayStation 4 that are exclusive, that I've I've been dying to play, but I still haven't bought the PlayStation 4. So I can't promise that will,
Well, that's actually what, in a way, kind of leans me a little bit towards one of the consoles, the PS5 or the Xbox. In a weird way, it's almost like you get 2 generations worth of consoles in one, with such a heavy, to me, it's the heavy emphasis on backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because, last gen consoles, those games still look pretty damn nice. Like, it's not like they're going to be ugly or anything. So you take those games, whether you're talking about the Xbox One games or you're talking about the PS4 games, you now throw that onto their next generation console. You already have yourself one hell of a back library built into that console. And I know the Xbox currently at least has supposedly more compatibility with the previous generation games. Sony's been pretty much saying like the big hits, which if people are doing backwards compatibility, they're probably looking at the biggest hits, so I can understand that rationale. So I kind of look at that proposition where it's almost like by skipping a generation of console purchasing, you're almost kind of like getting 2 in 1 when you pick another one up.
Yeah, I could see that.
Especially if you're like, I mean, that's something I also value though, is being able to buy, like, let's just say I pick up PS5 tomorrow.
Yep.
I mean, obviously I can't tomorrow, but when it comes out, I'm not even looking at, the new Horizon Dawn or the new Spider-Man. I'm looking at all the games from the current PlayStation 4.
Right.
Now I can now buy them super cheap. I can play those by the time I made through any bit, even like a small dent in that catalog. The brand new spanking pretty games are already going to be discounted. So that's kind of how I'm also looking at from that value proposition. Really, with the Xbox or the PlayStation, if you don't have this generation console, you already kind of come in with a huge catalog of games you can buy on the cheap.
True. And
sorry.
No, I was going to say, and I think that this, as we've stated many, many times in the past, this is, we're getting so close to just strictly digital distribution that catalog is going to be, it's become even larger and a lot more easy to more easily accessible. And you're going to see those subscription services really start to pop up.
Well, let's say for me, the irony is that actually pushes the plethora of backlog in a way actually pushes me towards, like, let's just say the PlayStation 5, because that's currently what I'm leaning towards, is actually getting the disc version, because there's going to be a glut of used physical, because PS4 is still heavily, I know there's a lot of digital, but it's still heavily disc-based console.
Oh, so is the Xbox One.
Yep, both of them.
Yep.
Where either console, you're going to have a glut of used games that you'll be able to purchase for dollars on the dime. What's that?
That's up to the publisher and the developer because they can lock you out.
They typically don't do well. I mean, they can for like some of the DLCs, but for the base game,
or online. But if you're online always, then they can lock you out that way.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's like a online game, yes, that's different. I'm thinking in this case, yes, in this scenario, I'm thinking more of the single player games.
True, but there's still those asshats out there that will lock your game down if that copy has been shown up anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm thinking in like, just for instance, I'm thinking of games like the original Horizon Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of like Noir. I'm thinking of games like that, like really the heavily single player games is really what I'm thinking of. I mean, I'm not thinking of like a Battlefield 2 or an Overwatch or heavily online games. That's not a game I'd be looking to go into on the used market.
I know.
In large part because of the reasons you state.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And like I said, I don't know where I'll end up leaning towards. Right now, I'm satisfied with my PC and my Switch. Even though there are games on the Switch that I really wish I had played on another system.
Well, and to be honest, a large part of it, me too, is I also have this fancy 4K TV sitting on my fireplace mantle. So in a way, it's also kind of be able to take advantage of that.
Right.
And, there's also I'm also kind of at that stage where it's kind of nice to just come down and lay in the couch and pop on a controller.
Agreed.
Which has been really nice with the Switch. I mean, I've really enjoyed the Switch. I've been playing Marvel's Alliance 3. I don't think that's actually the correct name.
Is it a fighting game?
Yeah, it's the beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a fun game, and it's nice to just plop down the couch and beat up some peoples. I'm really, really, really terrible at those games, though, because I just go in
button mash,
trying to Hulk smash, which is not an effective strategy.
Depends on who you're playing against.
Well, I'm glad I picked the easy mode.
Yeah. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to take this time to thank everyone for tuning in to the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving everything on our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.